So am I still audible? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Is the background noise okay? Hello.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. So after downloading the Anaconda, you just move to your search button. You just type in Anaconda. You should see Anaconda as one of the options. Okay. But then the default way to go through is you just go to your start button. You should see Anaconda folder here because you've already installed it. You select the Anaconda prompts. All right. Yeah. Then you will open the Anaconda page for you. All right. By default, it's black. I've changed mine to green. So it's by default, it's black. You just navigate to the directory you would have to use. Then you have to start the Anaconda prompt. So with this, I would give you a link to a video that you can go through all this. Okay. Please kindly give me a minute. All right. So I mentioned you need to open this pane. When you open it, you navigate to the directory where you want to start the Jupyter notebook. Okay, so in our case, we have data inside folder here that we want to navigate to. Okay, so this is the data inside folder. You just copy the URL or the directory, but you copy it, then you use your normal command prompt commands. You navigate to the folder. Now, when you get to the folder, you just type Jupyter space notebook. All right. When you press enter, it will start the kernel for you to start using the Jupyter notebook. All right. So after doing it, you should have something of this sort. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it. So I'm closing this. You should have all these commands showing that you've started the Jupyter notebook. Okay. Then it will lead you to your browser where you can start using the Jupyter notebook. So the pane opens this way. And when it opens, you can see all the files that you already have in this folder where you started the Jupyter notebook. So I have this data inside. These two are just saved in memory. After I close the window or I shut down the notebook, they would all disappear. So this is what is actually there. So that's what you can see over here. You just click on it and then it would open a Jupyter notebook for you, all right? But then if you have nothing in the folder, to issue a new notebook, you just click on this button, new, then you click on Python 3, right? So when you click on Python 3, it opens this empty Jupyter notebook for you. And that's where you start building your code, okay? So that's what the first section of the assignment requires us to do, which is this section. It requires us to do this, which is create an app. And it says we should create 2 apps. And you're doing all of this within the Jupyter notebook. All right. So I'm going to go through just one. I'm not going to create 2. I'm just going to go through one. After that, we'll move to this section where it says we should upload it to our GitHub. And after that, we'll go to the section where we'll write a blog about it. So to create the app, I've already written the code. Mine app is just a simple app where you are given um, a sentence with the separator being an underscore. All right. Normally, you write sentences with space bar being the separator. But then over here, we have a capitalized sentence and also underscore being the separator. Okay. So our app is supposed to get rid of the underscore and also lowercase all the words for us. All right. So if you give it a sentence of this sort, it should give us an output of this sort. All right. So I'm going to change the sentence, then we go through the code itself. All right. So the sentence is a string. So my with underscore, the separator is an underscore. So my cat is sick. All right. So that's the sentence. So you run the first one. Let me clear all the outputs. Let me clear all the outputs. And mind you, this interface you are seeing is not the default Jupyter Notebook interface. The default is white. All right. As I said, I've added a bit of touch to mine. That's why you see it this way. But then the default is white. All right. Yeah. So this is the sentence. Give it the word, the sentence, sorry. The next thing is place the sentence based on the separator. So it gets rid of the underscore, then places all the items within a list. Okay. So it assigns the variable you give it as a list now. So this is what you have. It has taken out the underscore and the words are all items within a list. So this section takes each word and then lowercases the word, all right, and place all the words in a new list for us, all right. So when I call the new list again, this is what we have. Okay, so this is what we have. Then the last thing is we want the sentence back as we started. We want it as my cat is, sorry, I typed my cat is a sick. Okay, let me run this again. So my cat is sick, all right. We want the sentence back again, which is my cat is sick. So we just run this, then it gives us the sentence back. Right now, we've eradicated the underscores and also everything is in lowercase. That's what we want our app to do, okay? Now, the thing is, when it comes to using Jupyter Notebook, you have to run the codes manually. But then we've mentioned that we want it as an app. So what you should do from here is you should be able to turn this into an app where immediately I open the app, it tells me I should enter the sentence. And when I enter the sentence, I get this as the final output. I'm not supposed to open this Jupyter Notebook and run this one after the other. Okay, that's the ideology behind an app. An app is supposed to give you the finished product. It's not supposed to let you go through manually as I'm doing. So in order for you to do that, you need to convert this Jupyter Notebook into a script. Okay, you need to convert this Jupyter Notebook into a script. And when you convert the Jupyter Notebook into a script, it should right away ask me what the sentence is and also give me the final output. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this into a script by just a little bit of touch. All right, so I just want to take questions now. Do you have any questions? You've done 15 minutes. I want to take questions and I'll turn this into a script.
For some reasons, I couldn't hear you.
You should have mentioned that when did I cut off?
When you started talking about turning the code into a script.
Okay. Am I audible now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Can the others hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, can hear you.
All right. So I mentioned after writing this code, okay, you write it in a Jupyter notebook so that you run it one after the other for you to fish out all the errors. But then when you get to the latter part and you see that everything works perfectly, this final thing you have within the Jupyter notebook is not the app. Okay, you need to turn this Jupyter notebook into an app, and that's why you need to turn this into a script. All right. Did you get that? Hello, did you get
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to write this in a Jupyter notebook because of the final task, which is you writing it in a block. When you're writing it in a block, we need you to be able to show us the code, how you went about writing the app. That's why you write it in a Jupyter notebook like this. But then you need to also turn this Jupyter notebook into a script. Okay, so to turn it into a script, you just add a little bit of touch, and this is the touch. What task do you want this app to perform? You're supposed to take a sentence, which is a string, capitalize, and the separator being an underscore. That's what you want you to take as the input, and the final output should be this. All right. So to add a touch to this, I'm going to go back to this section where we have I'm deleting this untitled Jupyter notebook. We didn't use it for anything. Where we have this data insights Jupyter notebook. All right. I'm just going to have this Jupyter notebook here, okay, and duplicate it so that we have two of the Jupyter notebooks. So this is the original one. This is the copy. All right. So the copy would be our main one. The copy would be our main one. And what we have here, the second one, is what I'm going to add attached to. All right. So I'm going to add a touch. The touch would be this. Just imagine you using an app and you would have to come back to this side to type in the sentence. It doesn't become quite conducive. You get it? Every app should be easy for the end user. So instead of me typing it here, I'm going to ask you to type it yourself. Okay, so I'm just going to add the code which tells me to do that. So the code should ask me enter your sentence. All right. So that's what the code should ask me for. So immediately I run the app, the code should ask me enter your sentence. All right. So the sentence, as I said, should be capitalized and the separator should be underscore. All right. So that's the first section. Okay. Then the second section is after running all this, okay, we don't really need this test. We don't need it. We don't really need it. So I'm going to clear it. We don't need it to print that. And we also don't need it to print the lowercase words within the list. We don't need it. All right. So we need this, which is this new sentence. Okay. We call it new sentence. We need this new sentence, right? Then we also need the code to print out. We are going to get an error because I've not run the previous codes. Let me restart the kernel and run this again. So let me restart the kernel and run this again. So the first thing it would ask is our sentence. I've mentioned it should be a string. Okay, it should be a string. Now you don't even need to write a string because input this specific command input takes whatever you type as a string. So I'll type my cat, as I said, it should be capitalized with this the separator being an underscore. So my cat is eating. Is eating. Okay. So my cat is eating. So that's the first section. We cannot restart it again. So my cat is eating. Okay. So this is the sentence. So we run the second one. All right. Now let's confirm whether this thing we typed was indeed a string. You see, I didn't even have to add the string, but then it still sees it as a string. So I'm going to delete this. We don't need this. Then we run this section where the lower cases or the words joins it within a new sentence. Then at the final section, prints out the sentence back to us with the underscore eradicated and also everything converted to lowercase. So this is the final output we want. So now that we can see this, all right, I mentioned you need to convert this into a script so that it looks more of like an app. So the code is working as you can see within this Jupyter notebook. So to convert this whole thing into a script, we just restart the kernel so that we get rid of everything. Because right now we know that everything is working. We restart the kernel, everything is gone. Everything has been cleared out of memory. Then you just click on file from this section. All right. Click on file. Then you click on this section, which is the thing is so big on the screen that I can't see the down section. Let me try and minimize the size. Okay. So download as I think you still can't see it. Let me move this aside because I can't see it myself. Okay, so let me minimize this. Okay, I think this is the farthest view. So download as, then you click on the Python section, python.py. When you download it as a .py, it saves the whole thing as a script for you rather than a Jupyter notebook. So I'm going to download this. It will save it as the same name, but then it's not a Jupyter notebook now. It's the script. So we save it here back in the folder, right? So this we have here is no more a Jupyter notebook. When it's a Jupyter notebook, you see this extension, which is .ipynb, which is IPython notebook. That's the Jupyter notebook. But then this you have here is a Python file, and the extension is a .py extension. All right. So to open this, to verify whether we have the same code within it, we'll use just a normal text editor, which is the Notepad. So as you can see here, this is the script. It's the same code, but then written as a script for you. Okay. So the reason why you need this as a script is because of this. Now that I have this, I'm going to open the Anaconda prompt again and navigate my way to this folder. So I will navigate my way to this folder. I'm going to share a video with you that can help you download the Jupyter notebook and also help you navigate your way as I'm doing. All right. Yeah. So kindly hold on, please. All right. So I'm going to share the video with you, which helps you to navigate your way as I'm doing right now. So now that we've navigated, we know that we are in this specific direction. All right. So we don't need to start a kernel again because this time around we are not dealing with the Jupyter notebook. We are dealing with the app. So how do you call the app, or how do you use the app? Right now we have the finished app. I mean, we have the final product. So we don't need to open the Jupyter notebook. We just need to call the app or use the app. And how do we do it? We call the script that we save. So we do Python data insights. All right, that's the name of the app. So Python data insights.py. All right. So immediately you run it, it should ask you for the sentence. So as you can see, it's asking for the sentence. So you just type the sentence. You make sure it has been capitalized, as I said, and with an underscore. All right. So Ghana is an African country. All right. So immediately I press enter, it will do everything that needs to be done and give me the final output. And that's the final output. Ghana is an African country. And that's how an app is supposed to be. And those are the little apps that are built within the phone that you use. For example, you start typing something and it starts giving you a suggestion of what the next step would be. These are how you write the apps. So that's how we need to write the app. You write it in a Jupyter notebook, then you convert it into a script where when you run it within this section of the Anaconda Jupyter notebook, it just gives us the final output. Okay, so we are done with the first section, which is writing the app. So you select any of the two we have here. All right, we select any of the two we have here, then we work on it as I've done. Now, the next thing is for you to commit it so that you can have access to the code. All right, how you wrote the app. So when you are committed, you commit your Jupyter notebook, which is this one, which is the first one, data insight.ipy notebook. Then you also commit the scripts. All right. So when you have these two, you commit them into your GitHub page. Okay, your GitHub page. How do you commit the file to the GitHub page? For you to be able to commit this to the GitHub page, you need to have a GitHub account. So I'm just going to run this as a new member. Kindly hold on. I'm just going to run this as a new member. I'm sure most of you have GitHub pages, but as I said, I'm treating this as if you all have no prior knowledge. So you go to github.com. So at github.com, you just sign up or you create an account. After creating an account, you should have this interface. You should have an interface of this sort. I think I've not really opened my GitHub page. Let me open it. So that's my GitHub page. After creating the GitHub account or signing up, you should have an interface of the sort. Okay, with these tabs, we have an overview tab, we have the repository tab, projects and packages. All right. If you are not working in an organization, you are not working in any organization, you should expect to use only maybe the overview and the repositories. All right. So the overview is just the pane where you see the projects you've worked on and also your heat map, right? The commits you made on various projects. Okay. So this section is where you need to create more or less like a store bank where you need to deposit the code. So we call that store bank a repository. You just click on the tab, it will lead you to the page where you need to create a repository. So you create a new repository and you deposit the code there. All right. So to create a new repository, a new repository, you click on new, then it will lead you to a page where you would have to type in the name of the repository. So the repository will be called Data Insights. All right. You can give it a description, it's optional. All right. You make sure you select public so that you can have access to it. Then these sections over here, this one, I'm going to talk about this. Okay. This add readme file is more or less like an explanation of the code so that someone who is about using the code would have a sense of how to go about the code. So I told you, make sure the sentence type is a string and also make sure that you type a capitalized sentence with a separated pin and underscore. This is where you need to type that. So we would add a readme file. You select that option. Then this git ignore is for let's say an app where you need to add maybe some files, maybe pictures or media files. Okay, but then the pictures or media files are that big enough that you can't deposit them to GitHub. So you just add this to ignore them. Okay, so I will just ignore this button and also the license. The license is just maybe a license for your code. All right. I will just ignore them. But then the main one is you selecting public and also adding this README file. So now we'll create the repository. So after creating the repository, you realize that the repository is empty. Okay, it's an empty repository and it has this README file here. So I'm going to first add the code. So to deposit the code, you click on add file. All right. So you upload the file. All right. So you choose the file from your local station and we need you to upload the code, which is the Jupyter notebook and also the script. So please kindly give me a minute.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, hello. Sorry, the call came through, so I needed to respond. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where was I? I was mentioning the file that we need to upload. So we move to where we store the file, which is this folder. Then we select the two files, which is IPython notebook and also data insights. All right. The second data insight is the script. The first one is the Jupyter notebook. This one is a copy of the first one, so I'll just ignore it. Then we open these two files. So it will upload the two files to GitHub for us. Now, anytime you upload anything to GitHub, it tells you, give it more or less like a comment, so that someone going to the code can really know that, oh, this is what you meant by this particular file. Okay, so I'm just going to add a comment, which is um, lowercase up Jupyter notebook. Okay, Jupyter notebook and create. Okay, so that's what the comment is. Then I'll commit to the main branch. For now, I would assume I'm assuming all of you are on the same level, which is no prior knowledge. So the main branch is more or less like what we would see on the page. You are not hiding anything. But then when you create a branch wouldn't be the main thing we would see. You can create a branch behind the scenes and be working. When you are done, then you push it to the main one. So for now, you're pushing it to the main one for us to see. Okay. So I'll commit the changes. And when you commit the changes, you would have this repository, which is data insights, and you would also have this README file in addition, though we didn't upload it. Now, the README is where you give more or less like a note of whatever the code is about. So I'm going to just add something to it. Okay. All right. So README, the README, you've already printed it. So I'm going to add the code, which is make sure make sure the sentence is capitalized. Also make sure the separator is an underscore. All right, so that's it. Then we would update the readme. So maybe readme information added. Okay, that's the comment you are giving to it. You commit to the main branch again. So when you go back to the main repository, you realize that this has been added. You get it. So that's how you more or less create the app for us. So when you come back, these are the files. This is the README file. Simple. So when you are done with this, that means you're done with the app and you're also done depositing it to the repository. Okay. We normally use the word committing it to the repo. So you commit it to the repo, then you copy this link for us. Copy this link. You come to this section of the assignment. You click on this tab, which is here. When you click on here, it should open a page like this for you. Where is it? Yeah, you should open a page like this for you. Just type your email, then you give us the link to the repo. Okay, so this is the link to the repo. All right, and also give us a link to the blog. So we are the last section of the assignment, which is write a blog of this sort. Okay, so the blog you are supposed to write is why you are supposed to write the code first in the Jupyter notebook before you write it as a script. So we need a blog to have this kind of look. We write what the app is about in more or less like a context, like you're writing maybe a small narrative about it. You write something of this sort, but every section you get to that you need to add a code, you add a code to it. You get it. So you add a code to this section, you add a code to this section. So it's more or less like you're writing about the code, but then in a blog. So I'm sharing this link with you in the chat section so that anyone who wants to have an idea of how to write it can just look at it. Okay. Yeah, a call came through. That's why the connection went off. But then I'm back. Yeah, sorry for that. So this is the tab. This is also another block. Uh, this is also another block. But then this one wasn't written on the Data Insight platform. This is the Medium platform. But then it's also just an app. And it's also just like the block we need you to write. So you can have a look at the two and have an idea of how to write yours. Okay. So yeah. So after writing this block, either this or the other one, you just copy the link and you just add it to this section. So when you create the second app tool, you add the GitHub page and you also add a link to the blog. When you're done, you type your full name, then you submit. That is what is required of you. All right. As I said, I'll share a link that would help you download the Jupyter notebook and also start the Jupyter notebook. And I will also share a link to help you create a GitHub account and navigate your way to the GitHub page. Okay, so that's it for now. Any questions, please? Hello, any questions? Hello, is anyone having any questions?
Not really, not really. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. So we've done like 40 minutes, like 38 minutes. It's left with like 7 minutes. So I'm expecting you to give me questions. If I don't get any questions, I would assume you are okay. And if you have any questions, maybe as you are going to the task, you can hit me up on Slack. All right. The name is Fraklin, Adjei, as you can see on the screen. All right. Okay. I'm still not getting any questions. So I hope it helped. All right. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. The link to the call will be shared in the group. So if you want to get back to it to find any further details you missed, you can do that. All right. So I'm dropping off now. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.